Alright, let's start with am I a femboy? Am I straight? What GD player am I? What will I get a girlfriend in 2026? How to cope with being alone forever? How to get all of the baddies? Will I be alone forever quiz? How to not be alone forever? How to kill yourself? How to delete search history? How to explain suicidal thoughts to parents? How to rob your grandmother at 7/18/26 at 11:38 p.m. Alex the prison sentence for killing your grandmother if she was gonna die eventually anyways. How to run from the cops? How long is a life sentence? How to hide a body in Among Us? How to hide a body from the FBI? How much is the bail for murder? How to rob a bank? How easy is it to rob a bank? How to get a gun as a minor? How to convince parents to get a gun? How to is it Trump's fault that bank robbery is illegal? How to rob a bank without parents noticing? Can you rob a gun store without guns? Can you the police see your face if you are wearing a fursuit? Am I a furry? How to deal with being a furry? How much are fursuits? How to be a furry trading video? Nearest US bank? Coco Melon. How to deal with cocoa addiction? Are the Pokemon Dude's crackable. Bluey. Is Bluey real? How to meet up with Bluey. How to tell if dog is pregnant. Can humans get dogs pregnant? How to explain to my parents why Bluey is pregnant. Is cracking a 2-year-old dog pedophilia? You have to pay child support for dogs. How to prepare for disownment. Adoption isn't just that bad. How long until I get adopted? How to change my identity so I don't have to pay child support. How to tell if I'm addicted to Bluey. What is this? Okay, well it's an anime girl outfit. You saw absolutely nothing. How to change my didn't how to tell yeah, we already did this. How old what is the age of consent in Australia? How old is Zoink? Is it bad for an 18-year-old to be dating a 13-year-old? How to get away with dating a minor fuck. Why do I keep doing this? How to get away with dating a minor, how to date an adult without the police finding out. I might be cooked.